Hi there. Hey, I've had so many people, because you guys weren't with me 4 or 5 years ago when all of my videos were all explanatory about what is this? How does it work? Why does it work? What do we do? How do I get with you? All that. It has evolved over a period of time. And I always kind of assume that the group that I'm addressing understands what we're doing. Oops. So for those of you who know what I'm going to say, go have a great day, do something else. And for the rest of you, let me just give you a quick rundown about not just what is hypnotherapy or hypnosis, because it's not what most people think it is, not what I thought it was at all. And, why does it work? And I heard an analogy this morning. I was in a thing with one of my favorite guys, one of my trainers and one of my mentors, Dr. Joe Dispenza, and he had the most beautiful explanation. Imagine, imagine if you will, you're working with your a software program on your computer, could be anything, and there's something happening that you don't want to be happening. It's coming to a certain point and then it glitches or it freezes or it's doing something really wonky that is not what you want it to be doing, not what it's supposed to be doing, not what everybody else's program is doing. So to fix the problem in the program, do we become the program to fix it? Are we able to go into the program and fix it? Can you fix the program if you're in the program? No. So how do you get your program fixed? You pick up the phone or you call a technician, you get something on the outside to go in to your operating system, into your computer, into your operating system to access that program, to run an analysis on it to figure out why it's doing what it's doing. You may never even figure out where it started doing that or why, but now we know what the problem is. Can we fix the program as it is? Or, oh my gosh, why are you running this old program? Don't you realize there's a better program that does all the things you want plus more? And all we've got to do is uninstall that one and reinstall this new version, which is going to give you everything the old one did, but in a wonderful, healthy way. All the good stuff with no glitches, no bugs. It's been tested. It works. It's the version, the people you see that are happy out there with their programs, it's the version they're using. Everything that's happening in your life that feels uncomfortable, that feels like a hurdle, that feels like a challenge, that feels like you're self-sabotaging you, like you're getting in your own way, like you're stopping your own best progress. The times when you see yourself doing that thing that you've done before when this situation happened, and why do I keep doing that? Why can't I get ahead of that to not do that the next time? And maybe it's because you don't know what to do differently. That's different. And that's okay. But there's a program running under the surface. The way my trainers taught me was that, people say you only use 10% of your brain. And maybe that's true, but I see it as it's not true. If the conscious part of you, the part that's problem solving, that's solution driven, that's chattery, that has opinions about everything, if you have access to that 10% of the day, every day. So 5%, 10%, depends on your lifestyle and your choices, but your conscious awareness, 10%. Well, so where's the other 90%? The other 90%, I always think of it as an iceberg. Like this is the tip of the iceberg, the stuff that's outside of the water that you can see. That's your conscious mind at work. That's me and you having a conversation during the day, us working on a project together, figuring it out. Anytime you're not in that focused, driven, willful mode, you drop. You don't just disappear, you drop down into a program. There are lots of programs running below the surface. Programs, yeah, programs like how you get in your car and you turn the key and you just drive down the road and you don't think about most of that. You make a pot of coffee in the morning and you know all the parts and where they all are and the sequence of events that you need to do, and you don't think about it. You don't have to sit there and make, okay, I've got to get the coffee out and I'm going to make 12 cups. And so I need to put this many scoops and I need the filter. And no, you have done this so many times by repetition. This part of your brain loves repetition, because once it's a repetition, once it's a program, it drops down out of the conscious mind. So it doesn't have to use that 10% to think about things that have become automatic. And your brain loves anything that it can make automatic, including bad food choices, game playing. I mean, like, video game kind of stuff. Anything it can make into a habit. It now does not have to use energy and worry and time and effort to think about that. It just happens automatically. And part of this part of your brain, it's focused on, actually, its only purpose is to keep you alive on the planet for one more day. And it really doesn't care how that happens. It doesn't. I used to think that my brain was responsible for keeping me happy, and nothing could be farther from the truth. It does not. That part of you that wants to keep you alive on the planet for one more day, that loves stuff running by programs because it doesn't have to think about it, that part of you just is kind of lazy. It doesn't care if you're happy or if you're sad. Doesn't matter, as long as it can get you to do the things the way you did them yesterday, because obviously that worked. You woke up this morning alive on the planet one more day. So let's not try anything new. Let's not push the envelope. Let's not change anything. Let's just do what we did yesterday, because that becomes a program also. So for us to have change, for us to say, you know what, this feels, you get to that point where the thing you want to change is more uncomfortable than not changing it. I love this story, that this is a different coach, different time, different world. But the story went something like, a guy walks by a farmer's house and there the dog is on the porch every morning, a little hound dog. And the guy keeps walking by every morning. Dog never moves. Dog never says anything. He realizes that the dog is like laying on a nail. I mean, it's like poking him in the side. And one day, the farmer is there, the guy that owns the dog. And as the guy walks by, he says, hey, I got to ask you, so weirdest damn thing, why your dog's laying on a nail? Why doesn't he move? And the owner of the dog says, oh, I don't know. Guess it don't hurt him enough yet. And that's us. Does it hurt you enough yet? And if it doesn't, talk to you later. Keep doing what you're doing. But if it's hurting you enough to say, I got to get off this nail, there's got to be a better, more comfortable, easier way to do this. There's got to be another way. Then that's what I'm here for. That's what we're here for. The thing that drove me to eventually, it wasn't, I don't want to say it was my choice, because it was to learn hypnotherapy and then hypnosis, which they're different animals. They're two different things totally. Hypnosis will give you a new program by repetition, and it takes a lot of repetition. Hypnotherapy is a much shorter process because it's going to the root of the problem. It wants to unveil and shine a light on, why is this happening? Why has this program been created? Why did some part of you think that it was going to be helpful for you at some point in your life, when maybe it was, but it probably isn't anymore? But the program keeps running until somebody, you, decide that you see the thing that's not giving you the results you want, and you realize it's a pattern and you want to get rid of it. You want to change it. You want to turn it into something that actually will benefit you at this point in your life. So that's what hypnotherapy does. It goes in to find the root cause, it breaks it up, and it overlays then a new program based only on what you say you want. And like, if I had a magic wand and could give you one wish, what would it be? We take that wish and we magnify it into a transformational experience, and then a transformational recording, which then will over a very shorter period of time, 21 days, to make a habit, break a habit, change the way you think, to give you results that will be long lasting. Because once it's a program and it's locked in, it's locked in. I mean, think about it. Think about the programs that you have in your life. And if you wanted to break those programs, I mean, smoking's an ideal one. It's like, how hard is that to try to change this program down here using your 10% up above? It's you got 10% fighting 90%. There's no way without intervention that that's going to be able to happen. And so for a lot of us, when we're trying to get results, doing the thing we've been told we need to do, and I'm specifically talking to students right now, do this and keep doing this, and then you'll get these results. But then you don't. Now, there are a lot of reasons going on in the background, neurologically speaking. Sometimes you are getting the results that you can't see. And so you're fighting yourself because you're not allowing what's coming next to unfold, because you're so consumed with anger and frustration about, why am I not getting the results I deserve to get based on what I've been doing that somebody else told me to do? That's valid. But there are times when people are just up against a wall, continuously doing what they were told to do, and there's just no progress being made. And there can be an underlying reason. Specifically, if you grew up in a world where you didn't matter, where your voice wasn't heard, where nobody cared about your needs and your wants because they weren't as important as the other people, as the grown-ups, as the people in control and in power around you, you will have downloaded a program that says, in order for me to be safe, I must be small. I must not achieve what others can't, because that draws attention to me. I must be in a situation where I almost succeed, but not quite. I can push myself to see how far I can get, but I'm not going there because that's dangerous. Well, it was maybe when you were a little kid. In my situation, every time I pushed the envelope, opened my mouth, I mean, I learned to keep my mouth shut. It took a hypnosis session to give me my voice back. I mean, that's the number one reason I know this stuff works, because my whole life changed as I started working on getting my voice back, seeing myself in a way that was healthy, putting myself first and not feeling guilty about it, because no, it doesn't mean you're going to be the narcissistic personality that raised you, Carrie, just because you put your needs first. It makes you actually healthy. It doesn't make you narcissistic. And those are programs, and they will continue. They will continue throughout your life until something is a sharp nail in your side, more uncomfortable, that it gets your attention and you decide you want something to change. And then you need to find a modality to help you change. A lot of people go to talk therapy, and I was one of them for a very long time. And I still have a talk therapist friend of mine, but we do a lot of other modalities when we're working on stuff. And so talk therapy, the way my first hypnosis teacher described it was, and not to disparage talk therapy, but talk therapy is kind of like going to the dentist when you have a toothache. And what if the dentist looked in your mouth and looked at the tooth and said, yeah, that, yeah, I can see how that might be causing you some problems. So I'll tell you what, why don't, tell me a little bit about how that feels again. And when did it start? And how often does that happen? Okay. Tell you what, why don't you come back? I've saved some time for us next Wednesday. You can come back, and in that hour, we'll sit down and we'll talk more about how that feels for you, what kind of pain that's causing you. And then we'll come back the next week and talk a little bit more about it. And then we'll come back the next week and talk a little bit more about it. Why don't we just go in there? And since we know where you, professional, know where the tooth is that's causing me problems, can you not assess it and tell me, is it fixable? Or does it need to be removed and replaced somehow? Tell me. But they won't, because they've been trained to honor the self-discovery process. And that's wonderful. But some of us are stuck so deep in our programming that we can't see anything but the programming. And so you're not going to get, you may get a revelation or something that pops to the surface, 6 months, a year, 2 years, 4 years, 8 years, 10 years later. And what you really need is a therapist who can look at you and be not be constrained by their training obligations, to be able to say, you're codependent, and let's look at where that came from. That's not a nasty bad word. It just describes the constellation of symptoms that you're seeing in your life that don't work for you. Codependent people aren't just born that way. They were exposed to an environment that made them realize that the only way to keep themselves safe, I'm coming, was to bow to everyone else's wants and needs and to not have any, to people please, to not say no for fear of making somebody else angry. Somebody who at that point in your life had control over you, power over you. And there was a part of you that said, I need to keep you alive on the planet one more day. And to do that, don't say anything. To do that, do what they want you to do. To do that, be so good at doing what they want you to do that you anticipate what they want and provide it before they even need it or want it. And you get yourself in an endless loop and a cycle. And then over a long period of time, you just assume, well, that must be who I am. No, that's the pattern. That's the program. That's the habit that you have adopted and maintained unconsciously because it kept you safe at one point in your life. So you need to evaluate, does it still keep you safe? Is it getting you the results, the efforts that you want? And if it's not, then find a technician, call tech support and ask, what the hell's going on with my program? Why does this keep happening? Is there a way to fix it? Do I need to upgrade? Do we need to uninstall and reinstall some new software? What do we need to do to make sure this isn't happening again? Because it's just too painful of a nail in my life right now. I hope this has helped. If you have any questions, put them in the comments, and we'll talk to you guys again soon. Love you.